This is on the campaign trail with Sachin Pilot. Well, he really is in some senses the heartthrob of this election. Crazy kind of audiences, big fan following. Sachin ji, huge crowds. I've never seen this kind of energy that I see for you.
I think young people are quite energized and the party is doing well. The campaign is going also quite nicely, and I think I'm quite hopeful that we'll have good results.
Yeah, I think somewhere you are the huge youth connect for this campaign. Who are the voters who you see who really connect with you?
I think I had the opportunity to be the Congress president of Rajasthan for almost 7 years. So I was able to galvanize a lot of workers across the state. That plus I've also been able to travel quite a lot. So once you have personal sort of connect and an emotional bond with the workers on the ground, I think that creates an energy that is difficult to describe. I think a lot of that is helping us now in the campaign that we are conducting. And young people, the farming communities, and I think all across people mistake Rajasthan as a caste dynamic state. Communities are important, but largely it's about the societal interfaces. So we have farmers, young people, army people, ex-servicemen, older generation of people. So if you have to win an election in a large state like Rajasthan, we have to carry everyone together. And I've always attempted in my public discourses to engage with a cross-section and not limit ourselves to one community or one region or one aspect.
I think a lot of people have tried to, the ones who are not your political opponents have tried to make you seem like just a Gujar leader.
Well, I mean, when you can't find faults in something else, you have to find something. I don't blame them. Opponents will oppose. That's their job. But I've remained focused on what I want to do is help my candidates win. We've never won elections back to back in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
We were in power. We came down to 21 seats out of 200. And that was a huge loss. That's, I think, the worst performance in the history of independent India. And that's the time I was asked to become Congress president. And we really worked hard. Not me. All of us worked together. And we were able to increase our tally from 21 5-folds to 100. So that was a big effort that required a lot of hard work from all leaders. So our attempt now is to break that cycle of revolving door policy that Rajasthan has. It's a bipolar state. So I think we're well placed to repeat this government.
How do you think that's possible? How do you think you're going to break the revolving door of politics?
Well, a couple of things. There's a change of mood nationally also. If you see the Congress party, we won elections in Himachal Pradesh. We won elections in Karnataka, which were BJP-ruled states. It's a 10-year BJP rule in Delhi. There's a fatigue factor. A lot of, I think, underperformance by the BJP government. A lot of false promises. And in Rajasthan especially, I've seen the BJP not really a united house. There are lots of pulls and pressures and a lot of disaffection amongst the leaders and cadres in BJP. And more than 5 years being an opposition, I didn't see the BJP on the streets. They were just hoping that eventually our chance will come. So they didn't really try and become the voice of the people. All these factors lead me to believe that we'll be able to form the government.
But there are pulls and pressures. That's a political reality. There are pulls and pressures in your party also.
I mean, of course there are, but not as much as the BJP. Congress we've decided that whatever the party leadership takes a call, that decision is final. In the BJP, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of unsatisfied aspirations and confusion more than anything else. That's why all leaders of BJP are coming from different parts of the country, including Delhi, because the leadership in Rajasthan is not able to galvanize. You see the meetings, the response, they had these yatras, these Parivartan yatras, Jan Akrosh yatras, but usme response and the traction was not there.
You talked about the pulls and pressures. I think everyone's asked you this question a million times, of course. I'm just going to put it differently. See, there's nothing wrong in being ambitious in politics. I mean, any profession you want to get to the top of the race. But nobody is ruling themselves out of the chief ministerial race. The CM has not ruled himself out. He said, "Ki kursi mere ko nahi chhodti hai," and you have said the party high command will decide.
I didn't say that. The party said that.
Yeah.
It's a long-standing tradition and practice of the Congress party to not have CM faces, to not declare a CM face, and that's true for all states going to polls. It's not just true for this particular state. Ideas for us to get a mandate. We are a national party. We're not a regional outfit with one face. We're a national party. We fight elections under the leadership of a leadership in Delhi, Mr. Kharge, Rahul Ji, Mrs. Gandhi. And once we get that mandate, then it's up to the leadership to decide and the MLAs to take a call as to who will occupy what positions. But first and foremost, without getting ahead of ourselves, and I think no one should do that, is first get the mandate. it's wrong to start thinking about CM's chair leaving me, not leaving me. First, we have to get people's blessings. And I always say this, it's the party that makes the government. Governments don't make parties.
But general question for both the BJP and the Congress, do you think somewhere now the voter needs a face? I know that it's not a tradition in Indian politics to have a face either in the BJP or in the Congress, but when Narendra Modi fought that election, he was the face very clearly of the Prime Minister. And people, so it was like, you think that kind of a presidential form of electioneering like you have in the United States, you think it will work in India? Do you think the democracy has come of age?
There are two aspects to it. One, every party is free to take a call. You're not required to have a face, but if you so choose to do so, then that's your decision. It may have a positive or a negative fallout. But it's a parliamentary democracy. It's up to the elected members to decide who will lead them. That's been the practice and the trend for so many decades. In the Congress, we've always maintained that. The BJP chooses differently. One is free to make their decisions, but I think it serves the purpose better if you fight unitedly. You don't discount someone or you give someone an extra advantage. You fight on even keel. You contribute to the party. You campaign rigorously, and you fight on ideology and manifesto as opposed to individualism. And once you win elections, that's most important, because aap declare kar do aur chunav mat jeet ho, then what's the point? Ideas first get majority.
So, the Congress model here, the social welfare model and the guarantees are actually something the Congress is replicating everywhere. Where do you think is the key? Is the key the youth and the women voter that the Congress is focused on? If you look at all the schemes, if you study it, where do you think is the key? Where have you got the pulse?
Simple key to all of this is delivery. If people don't feel you're credible enough to deliver, they won't believe you. And you have to make promises that you can deliver. There's fiscal management, there's economic planning, there's a commitment and a determination within the organization. And so what we've done in Karnataka, for example, is we've announced, we've got the mandate and we've implemented immediately. So people know, ye log jo bol rahe hain, wo karenge. And I think promises, anybody can make a promise. But when someone knows that this particular party has no chance to win, you don't believe those promises. It's because of a history and track record. And I believe that once you make a commitment, it may be a less grand of a commitment, but you must fulfill that. And that's why Mr. Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi ji and all of us believe that hum jo kahe, wo karna hai. So Rajasthan mein we've delivered, because what we promised in 2018 in our manifesto, we worked on those issues. Today we have a new agenda for the next 5 years and people believe what we say.
How many rallies will you and the Chief Minister do together? I know everybody has to campaign separately also because it strategically makes sense. But this thing of being together, seeing on stage together, because somewhere, whether you admit or not, that has actually damaged the party.
I think that's all in the past. There were all these comments and suggestions, and our opposition tried to take advantage of the fact that so-and-so is not getting along with so-and-so. But after we met Mr. Kharge and Mr. Gandhi in Delhi, I spoke out on a lot of issues, and I'm sure you're aware of the issues I took up. The party actually took cognizance of those issues, and the government was asked to implement some of those things, which I think is already benefiting the party as you go to polls. But right now, we are focused on working together, and there's no personal animosity against anyone. It's about issues and principles. What I thought was a required course correction, or what I thought was that we need to do this, because for 30 years we never win again. Well, we must retrospect, no?
Yeah.
We won 3 elections back to back in Delhi. We won 3 elections back to back in Assam. Why is it that Rajasthan we never get majority again? So that introspection was required to be done, and we have to change what we were doing earlier to get different results. So I think that was all in the past now. When Khargeji and Rahulji said to me that just forget and move on. That's what we're all doing. Moving on, looking at winning these state elections so that we can mount a formidable challenge in the next Lok Sabha elections.
Personally for you, Tonk. Tonk is a challenging seat. I think a lot of people say it's a safe seat. But what are the challenges in Tonk? And look at the number of independents who are fighting in Tonk. I mean, I think there's somebody's plan to, have you, to hold you, don't let you take off from Tonk.
Aisa nahi hai. I won last time from this constituency by the highest margin ever since independence. And so people's blessings are with us. We worked hard in that area despite many challenges. And I'm quite confident that the party will again get a very handsome mandate from Tonk. We've campaigned, Rajasthan polling is on 25th. So we had time after Madhya Pradesh finished So we've campaigned rigorously. Priyanka ji is here, Rahul Gandhi ji is here, Kharge ji is here. All of us are campaigning different parts of the state. And I think our campaign is much more strategic, much more coherent, and is much more pointed, and certainly much more responsive. I mean, our response that we're receiving is much better than the BJP.
You know, one thing that I have found on the ground, and I went in January, and I found that a lot of the Gujar vote bank are upset with the Congress. They are upset because their expectation has been belied. Have you managed to placate that resentment?
ऐसा नहीं होता है. Some people may have a view, but the Congress party is much larger than one community or one religion. There are 8 crore people in Rajasthan, 8 crore. Unless you have everyone's support and blessings, it's difficult to get majority in a state like Rajasthan. So Congress has taken a conscious decision of going to the polls with a united family. We're all going together, and this is on record that the party has said, not just for Rajasthan, for Madhya Pradesh, for Chhattisgarh. I don't think there's resentment. Some people may feel a different way, but ultimately we're all committed to voting for the Congress party. And it's not just one community, it's all large communities, all religions must come together, and only then can you secure a mandate. And that's what all our endeavors are focused towards.
You know, what are the 3 main focus areas, or what are you promising the people? What are the promises of the Congress? What are you going in? What's your main election pitch?
We've had certain welfare schemes that we announced, totally opposite to the BJP, which has, I think, broken the back of the middle classes and the rural poor. We are looking at giving pensions and scholarships to the needy. And I think it's better to spend taxpayers' money giving poor widows and older generation people some pensions and some disposable income, as opposed to writing off lakhs of crores of debt from nationalized banks for a few corporates. So our priority is giving money, like Rahulji said, giving money in the hands of the household runner, the women who run the households, to make their lives better. But it's not charity, it's not free. We're also looking at how to create investment hubs in Rajasthan, how to get more wealth creation within the industry in Rajasthan. So it's multifaceted, but idea is to make an equitable Rajasthan, to give young people opportunities, to make sure we focus on education, make sure that agrarian society is robust, and we're able to support them financially and with our schemes. So we have a whole gamut of issues, but people believe our schemes because we've delivered in the past.
But, you know, the BJP has said one thing very interesting. It said, I'm going to set up a SIT to probe the paper leak. And they've also said Mahila Thana. You know, they've touched on women's security. Do you think those are concerns because you raised them in the past?
I welcome every step taken to curb the menace of paper leaks. I raised this issue because lakhs of families were getting affected, and I'm glad that the AICC party leadership directed the government to make a new law, which now has the punishment which is being increased to life imprisonment if you are involved in paper leaks. So that's a big deterrent for people not to involve themselves in crimes like this. But I welcome any investigation. I think anybody involved in leaking of exam papers needs to be dealt with harshly. But what the BJP is doing now, at the eve of the polls, is unleashing ED and income tax in the houses of our Congress leaders. That's very unfortunate, and it's completely politically motivated.
So ED and income tax is politically motivated, and Sachin Pilot, special focus on youth fighting this election unitedly and hoping to beat the revolving door of politics.